Hey folks, we are well into the stay-at-home phase of this health crisis. I have the latest real estate numbers. Now, there's certain things that are obvious and certain things that are not obvious. Let's step away from real estate for a second. Have you seen the headline that the unemployment rate has plummeted? Of course you've seen it. It's been on headline news. No kidding. We're told to stay at home. We're told not to go to work. Everybody's in the same boat here. Of course, unemployment rate is plummeting. Have you seen the headline? Big bright letters. Airline industry is laying people off. Plummeted sales. Airlines are on the verge of bankruptcy, whatever they say. No kidding. We're told we can't fly. That's like saying restaurant industry is down. Well, we're told not to go and eat at restaurants. What do you expect? But this is all temporary. To me, it's not a news flash. Well, there's certain things going on in real estate that are also temporary and obvious. Other things, not so obvious. I know you're thinking prices are going down. That's not so obvious, and I'll explain in a little while. I've got the whole market report. I'm going to get started now. You can download all these slides at VaughanMarketReport.ca. So, this is the market report. This is the first page of a 27-page report that the Toronto Real Estate Board produces every month. It covers all the GTA, all home types. It's just an overall summary. What they're saying when they compare March this year to March last year is that sales are up 12.3%. and average sold price is up 14.5%. Sounds like good news. However, when we really look at it, there's a huge difference between the first week of March and the last week of March. So that's what I'm going to break it down. I'm not going to go month this year to month last year. I'm going to go week this year to week last year. So first the thing I'm going to look at is what's obvious. What do we all expect? Well, if we look at the blue, that's last year's sold units for Toronto, freehold only. Heading into spring, normally sales ramp up, new listing wraps up, prices go, everything tends to be going up, 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 heading into spring. Well, that was the case last year. And just before I go further, I've broken it down by week. The last week here, the most current week, is Sunday, week ending April 5th. So sales last year were going up. Sales for Toronto Freehold are now going down. But that's obvious. We're told not to be out unless absolutely necessary. So there's fewer people out and about right now. When we look at new listings, well, new listings last year for Toronto, for freehold, were going up. This year, they're going down. That's obvious. That's exactly what we would have expected. Taking a closer look at Vaughan, same idea. Solds for last year were going up. Solds for this year in Vaughan, going down. Let's look at new listings going up, up, up for Vaughan, and this year, going down. Here's what's maybe not so obvious. Let's look at average prices. Now, if I simply said, well, this is for Toronto Freehold. The first week of March, the average price was $1,500,000. Now, only 4 weeks later, the average price is $1,250,000. It looks like the average prices dropped by $250,000. That's what it looks like. But let me give you another bit of information. At this average price, there were 318 units sold. 60 of those units were over $2 million. So $2 million, $3 million, $4 million sold properties. Well, 60 units over $2 million gave you a $1.5 million average. This average here only has 10 units, 10 homes sold over $2 million. Well, There are 50 less homes sold over $2 million. For sure, the average price sold is going to drop. And I know for a fact that any of you that have actually been out looking to buy or sell right now, you've been involved in multiple offers. You've had multiple people at the homes. We're spreading showings out so people aren't there at the same time for social distancing. But there are offer dates all over the GTA. There are multiple offers all over the GTA. Anything in around the $1 million range, a little less, a little more, you're seeing properties sold over asking right across the board. So I'm telling you, prices really haven't dropped. Is there an example of a seller having to sell because they've already bought, reducing their price a bit? For sure. But there's also the opposite examples of buyers that have sold that absolutely have to buy. Some of them are under pressure to pay a little bit more. And that's true in any market situation, not just now under this health crisis. So that's what's happening price-wise in Toronto. Let's compare it to last year for Freehold. There was at the beginning of March, the average sold price was 27.5% higher at the beginning of March. However, up here, there were 60 homes sold over $2 million. At this price, there was only 20 homes sold over $2 million. Changes the average price. And heading into spring, last year, the blue line, prices were going up. This year, prices seem to be going down. And we are right now 6.9% lower for the last week of sales than what prices were this time last year. But it's not necessarily prices have dropped. The more expensive homes are not being purchased or not being put on the market for people to purchase, and we're seeing far, far less listings in the higher price bracket. Is it because the owners of these homes are in a different tax situation? Maybe they can make different decisions when it comes to selling and buying, where somebody in the $1 million range is in a different position where they kind of have to buy and sell. Let's look at Vaughan. Same idea. Prices look like they're coming down, but at the beginning of March, we sold 6 homes over $2 million. At the end of March, 0. No homes sold over that price range, and for sure that affects the average price. And I know in Vaughan, in the Freehold market, in the around the $1 million, 1.2, 1.3 price range, there are multiple offers. There are lots of offer dates. It just seems like prices really aren't dropping. There's just fewer of the expensive homes being sold. And when we compare to last year, we are basically almost 8% lower in average price. But last year, in this price range, there were 3 homes sold over $2 million, which will definitely affect the average price. And this year, again, no homes sold. Condo market, it's a whole different story when it comes to, well, let me show you. The blue is sales last year, up, 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 but now down, 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 week after week. New listings, last year, kind of stayed the same. Well, they've dropped in the middle of March, but they really haven't bottomed out like they have in the Freehold market. That's for Toronto. For Vaughan, sales this year have gone down. New listings haven't really bottomed out. The orange is 2020. It's actually not that far off from last year's new listings. So that's, for a lot of people I know, that's news to you, that it's not the whole market that is really suffering right now. But let's look at condo prices. For Toronto, it looks like prices have come down. However, at the beginning of March, at the $711,000 average price, there were 40 homes sold over $1 million. The end of April, there's only 3 homes sold at over $1 million. that definitely affects the average price. And if you've been shopping for condos, you know multiple offers, paying over asking in the $600,000, $700,000, $800,000, $900,000 range. Condos are going quick, fast, over asking. Toronto condos compared to last year, we're a little bit under what we were last year, same time. However, last year there was 23 condos sold over $1 million. In this average price is only 3. So there was 20 more condos here that sold for over $1 million. Definitely affects the average price. It's not that the $1 million condos are now worthless. It's the fact that of the expensive condos, there's fewer of them available because we see the lower end condos at the bottom end of the market, we see them selling over asking. We see them with multiple offers. Those prices really aren't dropping. And in Vaughan, same idea. Prices in condos really haven't bottomed out like they have in the freehold side. And in fact, the blue is last year's average price. This year, we're still above last year's average price in the condo market. So there's some obvious observations with sales going down, but not so obvious that prices are going down. And if you've been out there looking, you've seen that yourself, that if in the freehold market, if you're competing in the $800,000, $900,000, $1 million range, 1.1, you've got some challenges ahead of you. There are multiple offers. Look, real estate and housing is a fundamental element of all of our well-beings. And what I'm looking to do is give you the facts as I see them, to not talk hysteria, but to give you what's really happening out there so you can make important decisions for yourself. We're going to get through this crisis, and the government and everybody's doing what they got to do to have a speedy recovery after we get through this health crisis. The real estate market, housing prices, it's going to bounce back in the long term. It's going to bounce back fairly quickly, in my opinion. We're not seeing prices bottoming them out. We're seeing way less activity, but prices seem to be maintaining. My name is Santo Sessa with RE/MAX Premier. Be safe. And the last thing actually I'm going to leave you with, if you are in a position of looking to buy or sell, or when all this is over, it's really important now more than ever you align yourself with a realtor that really knows what's going on, not somebody who's reading the headlines just like you are, because those headlines are wrong. Have a great day, and again, be safe.